Ma'am, what are the cultural similarities and the similarities between Mexico and India in terms of history, culture, civilization, attitudes, and values? And what we have been, I mean, Mexico and India have been undertaking these activities, particularly in the fields of music, literature, cuisine, Ayurveda, yoga, I mean, all those sorts of areas.
Very important. Just remember one thing. Mexicans are called Indians because once upon a time, many centuries ago, someone set up sail and went to see India and wanted to get to India. And in the middle of the way, they found the Americas.
Yeah.
And specifically, they found Mexico. So the Mexicans are called Indians because they thought they had arrived in India.
Okay.
If that is not a similarity or a civilizatory change for both our communities, I don't know what is going to happen. This is a very important thing.
Great.
Most of the chiles eaten in the world were brought from Mexico.
Oh.
Of course, in India, because of the soil, because of the capacity to grow in different climates, the chiles become different chiles and have a different taste and different heat.
Intensity.
But still, the chiles that you have in India today, most of them came from Mexico centuries ago. Chocolate, vanilla, coffee, it all came from that part of the world. Potatoes that came from Peru and other tomato. So they all...
Cigar.
Yes, not exactly cigar, but yes, tobacco.
Yeah.
So all of those words that we still use today are old Mexican words. So tomato, tomato. Chocolatl, chocolate. So all of these words that are, let's say, Mexican old Nahuatl words. So cuisine is by far one of the things that we have big similarities. It's very interesting that I try to say that India and Mexico are two of the countries that know the difference between spicy and hot. Because spicy is tasty, doesn't necessarily mean hot. And hot is hot. So you have many spicy dishes in India that don't burn your tongue, but they are very tasty, they're very good. We have, I call it the Mexican curry, which is mole. It can be very spicy, like some of the Indian curries, but it can only, hot, but it can only be spicy and tasteful. So cuisine for sure. We are going to participate in one of the cultural events in India. So dance and music is something that, although different, we share as part of our heritage and a very important part of our heritage and our relation to that. Photography, architecture, handicrafts, all of those things, as I say, although different, we are as rich as India. We are, as if you remember, a mega country like India, so we have richness in people and richness in environment.
So given this mega relationship, mega sharing in taste, values, attitudes and other things which you have described, how the tourist inflow between the two countries, how P2P, people to people contact have evolved? I mean, because we have a figure that 60% rise in the Mexican tourists arriving in India. But we do not see any similar rise or some matching things, Indians going to Mexico.
Let me go back just one thing about the things we share. We share family. The values about family are very, very important. Although the clanic families of India were once upon a time real in Mexico, less and less so, but still very important. There is one difference that I always like to put forward. In India, I would go to the family of my husband. In Mexico, you would go to the family of your wife.
Okay.
So that is a very important difference. But still, the nuclear family is very important. Grandchildren, living and having a relationship with their grandparents, many generations, transgenerational contact. It has increased, tourism has increased. Mexico is in love with India, has been in love with India for many years. We we have close to 70,000 Mexicans coming to India every day. Not every day, every year. Every year. You are a nation destination for many Mexicans. As you say, maybe because of yoga, Ayurveda, and the beauty of India, the richness, the cultural richness. Mexicans are very cultural when they decide where to go. They want to see other cultures. They want to see other areas of the world, but mainly to those areas where you have culture. We are tourists that like to see architecture, that like to see culture, that like to see, as we said, dance and so on. In the case of Indians, last year we had an important number of 40,000 Indian visitors to Mexico. It has increased very, very much. With those consular decisions that we have taken, most of the Indian travelers, when they go to the Americas, in this case to the US or Canada, they make a longer stay into Mexico. So we are very interested in, of course, having more tourists from.
So are you trying to
yes.
extend the consular activities to other cities of India also?
Well, we have already presence in Mumbai, in Calcutta, and hopefully soon a consulate in Chennai.
So ma'am, now given this kind of people-to-people contact, having a very proximity, closeness, and warmth regarding India and Mexico sharing, the population sharing about that,